Hey listeners, this is Pete with a real quick promo. No advertising. We have a running food contest on the Redwall subreddit, Are You Alia? And it goes through the end of February. I'm encouraging all of our listeners, please enter. We'd love to see some cooking from you. And the chosen 3 winners will be invited back onto the podcast for the next food episode. We'd love to have you on, so get those ovens up firing and stay away from Sister May's recipes. And now, here's your Lord Brocktree. Welcome back, Weary Travelers, to Recorder on the Wall, where we're going through the entire Redwall franchise from start to finish. I'm Pete.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Kaydee.
I'm Drew.
We haven't heard from Wilder this morning. I'm sure he'll be coming along, hopefully, and we'll go from there.
Maybe he's also having Skype issues.
Could also in this podcast? No, that's impossible.
Skype is the perfect program. What are you talking about?
Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
And we are exploring other ways to record, folks, but for the moment, we're going to keep going to our normal pattern. We read the middle book of Lord Brocktree, which is named... What is it?
I just remember Dotti's title.
At the Court of King Bucko, also entitled The Tribulations of a Hair Maid.
You know, if you're going to crown yourself a king, you can come up with a better name than Bucko. Just saying. But yeah, this was the middle part of the book, and all things considered, there was somehow a lot of things happened, but there was also a lot of, let's sit around and wait for the next thing to happen. At some points.
Yeah, it felt like a lot, it does feel like a lot happened, but there were very few big events in it.
It was mostly build-up, yeah.
A lot of prep, but not much pep.
Well, as we point out with Matameo Book 2, like, the chase didn't actually go anywhere. I mean, they stayed about the same distance apart, so that's why the B-plot was so much more interesting.
Yeah, this one didn't even really have a B-plot.
No. All this is definitely interconnected. We don't have any new villains show up. So. Did
we not meet the, what is his name? The fox, that was, I can never remember his name.
Karen Ghoul or something like that?
Yeah, did we meet him in this book?
He was new.
Yeah.
He was new.
Okay. I was like, I swear I tried not to read ahead again.
So it's he's new, but the Corsair guy, but he's just kind of the, I don't know, right-hand man to Trunn at this point, because most of his big officers are either dead, imprisoned, or otherwise unavailable.
Plotting revenge.
Yeah,
it started off so well, too. In Book 1, we were like, man, he has so many officers, he's so well regimented, and in this one, it's like, everyone dies.
And Vermin HR is going to keep filing out paperwork for days at this rate. If you missed us last time, what happened? Well, we have couple of badgers walk around. We had got Stonepaw, who's at Selmanistron, defending it from this wildcat with this massive army outside Selmanistron. Meanwhile, his son, that he now hasn't seen in seasons, Brocktree's on his way to Selmanistron, and he meets up with his own
Misfit
group.
Squad.
Yeah, pretty much. with the best singing voices in all of Mossflower.
As we are subjected to repeatedly.
Yes.
They're not very good.
I think I remember this was the book where I was like, geez, there are a lot of songs in this book.
And see, I never really noticed, but, like, the thing with me and my career that I picked, I read stuff physically all the time, like transcripts and everything. So as often as I can, I like to do audio just because that's kind of my pleasure reading type stuff. Mm-hmm. So with audio, especially, Brocktree wasn't an official full-cast audio book, but with audio, the songs that they do are really kind of fun because they have music and everything.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really mind the songs, but that was why, because I got to listen to them.
But were they horribly sung? That's the question.
No. That might be the reason that Jake's decided not to do this one in full cast audio, so we wouldn't have to listen to Dotti sing.
And the last major group running around is a hare from Stonepaw's garrison named Fleetscut. So, and he's got a bunch of squirrels following him, Chuck of the Sling, and as the book ended, we found they were in the company of a bunch of hedgehogs. That's pretty much where we pick up. So, new characters introduced in this book. No villains, like I said.
Well, kinda.
Sort of. What's his name? Gaboo.
Karen Gould.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm not quite sure of the pronunciations on these things, just because of there not being an audiobook to this one.
Yeah, so Karen Gould's kind of the only new villain, and he's just another officer, and...
Yeah, they don't do much with him outside of the fact that he has a strange accent where he kind of just doesn't use specific words in his sentences. I don't know the best way.
I didn't understand the purpose of that. Like, okay, just make him talk funny? Sure.
Because Brian likes accents and dialects.
I mean, that's true, I guess.
Yeah. He likes using apostrophes a lot.
And then on the hero side, we have a couple of three major groups introduced. We have the Hedgehog tribe, as I mentioned, the Rabble, who is allegedly headed by this Baron... I'm going to slaughter this.
Drucko?
Someone help me. Drucko. Yeah.
Yes.
But as we quickly find out, the real power behind the throne is his wife, so...
Merkelwort
or something, yes.
Yeah.
But she will happily... I kind of read this as she's giving him like a bald head, but she takes off a couple of head spikes anytime he steps out of line.
Yes.
I want to say, I think this is one of the first books where the names start to get a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a point in the series where the names stop being things that are just, oh, this is a flower, or this is, they're named after something, and the names just start getting more and more bizarre and harder to remember, and harder to pronounce as well.
Yes, I find it kind of amusing, especially like in Loamhedge, we have Sarah Bondo and then Martha. It's like, okay, well, that's...
Where do you know that name?
Go away, Batman. We have a skipper of not just otters, but sea otters. We have a Brogala.
I think it's Brogala, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sounds better. But we have a skipper of otters for the first real time in the podcast. Yeah,
yep.
But he's not the river kind. This is a sea otter. So.
And his mother.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
His stereotypically female emotional mother.
Yeah, I'm pulling a joke from the other cast here, but I kind of read her in that same way we did Jason's mom, Jeremy.
Okay.
Why don't you inform everybody, because you're better at it.
So, on our other podcast, Pete and I reviewed Friday the 13th, Part 3, and we decided that Jason Voorhees' mom is the stereotypical Jewish mother.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Like, Jason, how come you haven't killed your victims yet? Oi!
Yeah, that's kind of how I read her here. So, yeah.
Great. Now I'm going to read her like that for the rest of the book.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay. And now that reminds me, I worked at a summer camp for blind students in Minnesota, and one of them was from, I think she was from Boston or something, but her mother pulled me aside. She's like, now listen, I'm a nervous wreck mother. Like, oh great. This is going to be fun.
Brago, that guy.
The skipper guy.
We can just call him Brog.
Skipper.
I think
We're just going to go with Skipper because it's easier.
That works too.
He has a heron walking around with him. And
yep. Rulango, I think. Rulango?
Yeah. Rulango? I always said Rulango, but...
Yeah.
He doesn't speak, but And he doesn't consider himself the law, even though we haven't looked at that book yet.
Do these take place at the same time?
This and Legend of Luke?
Mm-hmm.
No,
we kind of tossed around last time, like, how old Luke or even Martin would be here. Yeah, Martin's not walking around yet. And Luke, at best, is probably a kid.
Ah,
because
Roger.
it does mention Verdaga being a conqueror, and it does say that Luke, spoilers, was driven out of the Mossflower area because of Verdaga.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, at best, yeah, Luke's a kid here.
Yeah.
And then we have Bucko's court, who surprisingly has a pretty varied a bunch of people around him. First we have King Bucko himself, who apparently crowned himself king. I don't mind him. It's
good to be the king.
He's kind of vain, but as Ed's pointed out, but he's not an unenjoyable character. So.
No, he has an arc though. He kind of starts out a little bit chauvinistic and
a little,
you know,
yeah.
just a tad.
But he has more than hares walking around with him. We have his rule keepers. I had to work my way through that. But we're told in book 1 that these are descendants of original Salamandastron hares who walked away. So
some of them are. I think some of them are supposed to be from the north, like
the
Bucko.
mountain hares.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I noticed something while reading this part, and I never really thought about it before. There are no main characters that are mice in this book.
That is true, yeah.
Well, we've got no Martin running around, so yeah.
Yeah, and this is granted, like, I know I haven't read 2 of the books, but this is the only one I can think of that doesn't have mice as the main characters, or any main character that's a mouse.
There were canonically no mice before Martin the Warrior.
Yes.
Well, technically that would be Luke and Luke's wife. So.
Bring logic into it.
No, Martin was
He's the progenitor.
born, and then the world just formed his dad. As a means of
this brings
explanation.
up many questions. Trying to think if there's anyone else truly new. We do have a one hare kind of take 4 point in Stonepaw's group, Stefner Medic.
Yep.
Because, well, we'll get to Stonepaw in a moment.
And his grandsons.
Yeah, who are at the court of King Bucko. So.
What are their names?
Bob Weave and Southpaw.
Beautiful.
I get it. Haha. Very punny.
Maybe you should explain the joke, just to make our audience suffer just a little more.
I don't know. I don't want to box anyone's ears over this.
Oh. Okay, that's the end of that round, Jeremy. Let's move on.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jeremy's probably the most he can invent a pun out of anything.
Yeah, I remember getting through Redwall.
I think I said it before. I'm like a Pandora's box.
Wah, wah.
Yep. That was the reaction that deserved.
Please involve me trying to strangle you through the internet. So
That's also become the running thing.
Then we got this new thing we have to talk about in the series. Kind of much lore. Because, maybe Redwall and Matameo are direct sequels, and first one a direct sequel to each other, but it's the time we definitely get a lot more lore that's just picked up because it's book 13 in publishing work. We mentioned, there's a lot of songs here.
A lot.
Okay.
And poems.
Yep.
Yeah, the riddle poems, I guess the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
So, besides King Bucko sending out apparently public notices that anyone's welcome to come challenge him.
Liar. Pants on fire. Hills on fire?
Yeah,
Wait,
I like how contrived that was. That whole, I'm gonna send out these little pamphlets that people use to challenge me, But it's gonna be a riddle. Because Bucko loves riddles.
Okay, we'll go with that. We also have among the riddle poems, we have the back exit out of Salamander's Trunn.
Also dumb.
It kind of flies in the face of what we will see in what was published by this point. But I actually like the fact that Stonepaw and the Hares had to work this out, and they just didn't have it on a scroll from Abbess Germain from 100 years before. They're like, oh, we should probably remember something from our childhood.
Yes, the very, very old hare had to remember. And I mean, that's super annoying when you think you know something that would be helpful to your current situation, but you cannot remember it. That's super annoying.
Yep.
So, here's my question. We're told that there is a back exit out of Salamander's Trunn, and it's not an easy one. Easy one to get out. Where was this in the book, Salamander's Trunn? Usurp should have... Maybe if he didn't know about it, sure, okay. Mm-hmm. But if the bookends of the book here is literally Russino saying how much research he had to do with this. So he found out about it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to think there was an off-screen moment in Salamander's Trunn where Farrago and his team tried going in through the back, saw the spider crabs, went, no, thank you.
Although Rossano's time was after Earth Stripes, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe after Brocktree's generation, this kind of got forgotten, because it seemed to have already been pretty much forgotten at this point. So maybe people just forgot about it.
Yeah, they might not have had to use it, or even, especially because I think to even get out, like that area that they found was not easy to get to as well.
No.
Yeah, it was like tunnels and caves and everything.
Also breaking what we find out in that same book, Salamander's Trunn, we see that Salamander's Trunn has a big underground pool that we really don't know how deep it is, which really would have been useful in that book when they were dying of thirst.
I was thinking that too.
Yes.
I mean, we are told at the end of that book that they somehow find a fresh spring that can keep water going for good, but it's like, okay.
Yeah, but the pool is full of bones.
It's full of dead bodies by the end of this, I mean.
Yes. I don't know if I'd want to drink out of that water.
Yeah, maybe they found it. We're like, all right, and they just see like a skull float to the top. Never mind.
Yeah.
So we also have the blood rat mentioned by name for the first time we've covered in the podcast, anyway.
Yep.
Yes.
By both, it's mentioned by name by Brocktree, saying if you want to wield a sword this big and heavy, you have to take some badger and blood rat to really get it going.
Eep.
Overcompensating or just trying to impress us up? You make the judge.
I know it seems
and
to
then
fit. I was going to say it seems to fit with Brocktree because all of his solutions to his problems in this book seem to stem from I'm bigger than you and wield a giant sword. Be afraid of me.
Yes.
Yeah, the pointy end goes into the other guy.
Yep.
And lastly, this is introduced at the very end of the book 2 here, but Bucko cites a hare law, and I'm going to quote from the book. We follow comrades in peace and war, the heroes of perilous beasts we know, but who commands... Did I write that down wrong? But who commands, who makes our law? The Badger Lords, 'twas always so. So even though this is the earliest chronological book, apparently Badger Lords have always been doing this. Okay. Maybe an early Badger Lord came into existence and the mountain formed around him.
The volcano erupted, and out of the steam emerged a Badger Lord.
I do have debate. This begs some pretty big questions. Okay, you guys follow Badger Lords. What makes a Badger Lord? Is it merely just species? Because what happens if you've got more than one Badger Lord in the same spot, and they disagree? What if one goes nuts? Are you still obliged to obey him?
Considering what we see of a couple Badgers in this franchise, I believe so. Does anyone remember Krega in the Long Patrol?
Oh,
I was just thinking of her. I was thinking of there were 2 Badger siblings one albino, the other, was it Sunstripe?
Earthstripe.
Earthstripe and Earthlight.
Yeah.
But they were in a different place. I know in this one, Brocktree left his son because he was like, 2 Badger Lords, never in the same place. Bad idea.
Yes.
I'm thinking
what happens if he had...
Or became a teenager, and he's like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yes.
Well, I think that's kind of the entire thing. Then it's like, who are the hares supposed to follow there, too? Bad.
Okay,
I mean, if Brocktree had made it to Salamandastron and Stonepaw was still alive...
Fight to the death.
Although it seems
okay, you win. I'm going up to the Highlands.
They seem to be governed by some sort of, I don't know what you would call it, force, like fate or something, because they always like follow their dreams or whatever. So maybe this, I don't know, badger god is always making sure that there's only one badger at a time.
Well, they do mention, and obviously we haven't gotten there yet, but in Mossflower, Boar says that when he first came to Salamandastron, Brocktree was still alive. And that they ruled together for a short time. Granted, at that point, I think there was only like 8 hares left. The Lord only knows what happened to the rest of them. But
rule the mountain as father and son.
Just the 2 of us.
No, I've got Star Wars on the brain. So
oh, okay.
My local science museum has what they call an Omnimax dome. Instead of a regular IMAX screen, it's curved.
Ooh.
And I got to see Star Wars 8 on the dome, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
That is dope. I just thought of a really good poster idea. You know how the Badgers in this book have that secret chamber in their either bedroom, forge room, I forget which one, where they go and they, trip out and
got all the carvings on the wall.
Find things.
We mentioned that, yes.
Got those cool carvings on the wall, man.
Yeah, well, it's the fragrant smoke, man. But I just wanted a poster, like a college dorm poster of a badger tripping out that just says, "Follow your dreams."
Stonepaw, yeah.
I see badgers. This stuff is great.
Another badger lord is coming.
It's like they can see the smoke from the forge. The forge.
Oh, good. He is walking around on trip again. Okay, come on, let's go walking back to bed.
Why do you think the hares are always hungry?
I want food. Oh, man.
That explains everything.
It really does. Right along. There isn't much food porn in this section as there are others.
I mean, there is the eating contest.
Yeah, that's nice, but...
With lots of wine.
I was going to say you guys have corrupted my reading of these books because as soon as Bucko fell asleep, I was like, oh, Sister May went back in time and drugged him to sleep.
Resident poisoner. Where the badgers get their good stuff.
What, does Sister May send a buyer to Salamandastron?
Oh, yeah.
A mouse with a Spanish accent.
Farlow.
Yeah.
Comes back every episode.
Oh my gosh, all of our tangents are just connecting.
That's awful. Lots of spices.
All right.
I don't always put hair kings to sleep, but when I do, I use Sister May's potions.
Potions, fella. Need of your strongest potion.
So,
anyway,
what's going on? While that's all going on, Brocktree, his group is consisting of himself, Dotti,
Ruff.
Do we even see him?
He's there. He's guarding Dotti as she's not supposed to.
Oh, right. And we have the mole cook, who's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Girth.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a good moment.
So they have met up with the Gosum, early, as we mentioned last time, one of the few female Logologs we'll ever meet. I
think she's the only one, actually.
Mm.
And their thing is they're just traveling down to Streamford.
Like, we're here too.
And they run right into Fleetgut's group.
Yep.
Fleetgut. And it fortunately just happens to be at the one spot they need to be to summon Bucko's guards to guide them to the camp.
How convenient.
Ain't that great?
Huh. I'm just imagining, like, in bright neon, Bucko's camp.
Like a casino sign.
Vacancy.
Yeah.
It did remind me a lot of a Renaissance fair, that first description where, like, squirrels are doing flips and people are fighting each other, like, on logs and stuff. I was like, yeah, I could see this.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Yes.
They hand them a little horned helmet as they enter, and a map.
But that's basically their journey is basically, hey, nice to meet you. Oh, you're from Salamandastron? Okay, we'll help you out. But we're going to go to this King Bucko guy and steal all his people for our army. And they go to King Bucko, and we'll get to him in just a moment. Meanwhile, back at the mountain, we have a much more serious storyline going on. Yeah, so if at the end of Book 1, Stonepaw and his remaining heirs who are not captured, they're down in the catacombs of Salamandastron, trying to stay out of vermin notice as they figure out what the heck they're going to do.
And there's about 18 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thereabouts. And Stonepaw and one other heir, they start, like as I mentioned, they work out this riddle poem. But it basically says, you have to climb all the way up this long rope, go out a giant hole that looks like a plum cake, and dodge very pinchy spider crabs.
Sounds like a good adventure.
Reminds me of what's that moment in it's Cusco, Emperor's New Groove, where they're tied to a log.
Oh my god! Let me guess. We're about to go through a giant hole that looks like a cake.
Mm-hmm.
Crabs in the pool that are going to be pinchy?
Yep.
Bring it on.
Ah!
I haven't either. I think I've seen that clip. That's it.
Well, yeah, the clip is worth seeing because it's one of the funnier bits Disney did in that era.
I should just probably see the whole thing. My friends are scandalized at the amount of movies I have not seen, but because descriptive audio is relatively new. Like, for right now, I could pretty much see any movie I want and have it described. But back when I was growing up, that wasn't really an option. So I was like, movies, I'd rather read, because I get more out of it that way. So
understandable.
I missed out on a lot of movies growing up.
Yeah, I swear to God, no pun intended, I get badgered a lot for not having seen certain movies.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. My friends gave me heck for not seeing Goonies until about 2 years ago.
I still haven't seen the Goonies.
I don't get the
yes.
Okay.
The Goonies. I don't get the hype around the Goonies.
Thank you.
I have a feeling if I see it at this point, I'm gonna be like, all right, just kind of shrug. So
yeah, there are some things like that. Like, you see it at a certain time, and it just becomes part of your childhood and your nostalgia, and then you try to be like, this is the most awesome thing ever, and people who haven't experienced it are like, is it though?
Yeah.
And then there's things as a kid that scare the bejesus out of you, and then you watch them later as an adult, or read them later as an adult, or what have you, and they're like, huh, okay.
That was Spirited Away from my girlfriend. Great music.
That was Gremlins 1 and 2 for me.
Mm.
Speaking of segues.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Rolling right along.
Back to what we're actually
Stonepaw,
supposed to be talking about.
As Stonepaw and his heirs are getting out, suddenly, oops, we got noticed, and they've got all of the vermin coming at them.
Well, don't worry.
And
they said that Stonepaw can fit through the hole there, so he'll be fine, right?
Sure.
Yeah, he might order his hairs to leave without him, and he's going to sacrifice himself to buy time for them. And in one of the more, I mean, it's an awesome fight scene, but one of the more, like, oh my god scenes in this book, he goes down fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right to the bitter end. Doesn't matter that he's elderly and not feeling good. He basically gets taken on by Blood Wrath, and he beats them all up.
Yep. To the point where he scares the captains, to where the little Grottleless Fox is going like, "Oh, kill him! Just kill him! I don't care! Kill him, please!"
Yeah.
And his last act is, after they've managed to tie him down with ropes and nets, to break said ropes, use the net and take about a half dozen or more vermin down into the deep pool with them. And basically drowns.
That would be an awful way to die, like weighted down with like this net and no thank you.
And you're one of the vermin in the net. You're trapped against a very angry badger lord who's dragging you down to the deeps.
And he's laughing. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, darn.
Blood Wrath kind of makes you crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have a
Although,
Snickers.
Was that?
He's saying Stonepaw should have just had a Snickers.
Okay. I thought you were just randomly saying, I have a Snickers. Like, no. Okay.
I wish I had Snickers. All I got is this trail mix.
Yeah.
I understand now. I'm with you now. I was very confused for a little bit.
Yeah.
Stonepaw, you get a little Blood Wrath when you're hungry.
Turns into a mouse.
Martin's like, yeah, no problem. I'm good now.
Oh, we
Thanks,
are
dude.
using that when we come to Martin. Oh my god.
So would he have survived this fight, even if, like, so say he, like, somehow managed to be rescued after fighting this very strenuous fight at his age? Do you think he would have survived, or if it would have killed him anyway?
I'm in the latter camp. I think this was like his last great hurrah, using up that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw, again, we're investing ahead here, in Salamanderstron Earthstripe at one point, he is literally, he could best be charitably called in critical condition, but he forces himself up and still manages to join the final battle.
Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the most
spoilers.
unsatisfactory, not really unsatisfactory, like unresolved deaths, because his daughter comes back too late, and spoilers, and it just makes me sad every time.
And his brother.
Yeah.
And his grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm saying Stonepaw would have basically killed himself doing this.
Yeah, I think so, too.
So.
Yeah.
And Trunn takes it well, that he didn't get the hairs he wanted, the remaining free hairs, or the badger.
Very well. Although he doesn't really have a fit of rage yet, does he? He's just like, you guys are annoying.
Yeah, he doesn't snap anyone's neck and then throw them out a window this time.
Yes.
Well, I told you, Vermin HR had a long talk with him. So.
Yes.
You can berate them and turn them into pure slaves, but you can't snap their necks and throw them out a window. And like, you haven't done that since. And Trunn gets out the window, sees a pile. No, not at all.
Trunn's basic solution to this is basically to demote his captains who were responsible for bringing him Stonepaw, and promote our two random new recruits.
Oh, yeah.
Ripfang and what's his name?
Dumai.
Thank you. And they take to their new roles very, very well. AKA every other. In the words of basically an employee who's been given way too much power and starts to use it judiciously.
Yes.
Yeah, the only thing we don't get from them is maniacal laughter.
No, they're too cool.
Although they do straight up kill one of their new underlings.
And that scene was so dumb, because it was literally like, ha ha ha, bet you can't kill that person. He's like, bet you I can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You did.
He's like, but you can't outrun an arrow. Yeah, right. And Dumai's, I think, officially the dumbest character in this book. Why'd you make me kill him?
I get that it's just like, these are vermin. They're bad guys, and they're probably gonna get their own later. But it just seems so useless. Like it was just, and then they bully Grottle and the Captain Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Fraggle's the other one.
Or something.
Yeah. Well,
we called him Fraggle Rock last time.
Yep. But then, this one's Frau. I don't know. I saw that. I was thinking Frau Blucher from Young Frankenstein.
Although I do think Meyerfleck kind of like that name, which is sad because that's the one they killed.
Yeah.
Like that was a pretty decent name, like compared to some of the other ones.
So Grottle and the other guy, though, they work out, hey, we figured out how the hairs got out. Let's do the same thing. Oops, push you in the spider crab pool.
And then Grottle floats away, and I'm sure we'll never see him again for the rest of the book.
There's a picture in this book that I love, which is just like a very dilapidated Grottle, like staring angrily at a mountain.
Oh, yeah.
On a log, he's like, "Arr!" I'm like,
Yep. We'll never see him again. Her. Him. I mean, it's not like he has a vengeance against Trunn for crippling him and killing his entire family.
That was also reckless evil. He was like, hey, Grottle, remember when I crippled you? And Grottle's like, yeah, I remember.
Yes.
And then remember how I killed your entire family?
That was great.
Remember how I'm telling the readers this exposition that would not make sense for me to tell you any other way?
What? And I do get why he feels like he can say that, because what's Grottle gonna do? Like, seriously.
I don't know. I kind of read it. I'm now thinking of like Chris Farley in SNL where he does like his interview thing. It's like, hey, remember that? It talks to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember that time you were on the Terminator? Yeah, that was awesome. Hey, Grottle, remember that time I killed your parents? That was awesome.
So yeah, Trunn takes it well. He, as we've seen, he still has other problems. Vermin HR has been on his case. That's the fact that they're out of food.
And then when a few guards try to take some food for themselves, Trunn decides to execute them by drowning them. I have a feeling Trunn is like, look, I have enough troops that cover the land. I can kill about 80 or so. It's fine.
And, I mean, all these four random rats were doing were just keeping a few of the extra fish they had caught.
I would probably do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I don't think any of us wouldn't have done the same thing. So
we're all dying, is what you're saying.
Woo!
4 of us are going to get staked out in front of the Elemandastron. And
sounds like a good time.
Karangul.
Karangul, yeah, I don't know. Karangul.
Kangaroo.
Yes,
Kangaroo.
I love that.
That's his name now.
By the end of this book, every character is going to have a different name.
Yes.
No, Karangul gets instructions from Trunn. Hey, you know those hares we've been keeping prisoner?
They look a little tasty. I mean, tempting. I mean, yeah, tasty. That's what I meant.
Yeah, we're gonna eat them. And I have to say, I mean, thankfully, yeah, it doesn't happen because they get out and they escape. But is this the first time we've seen like non-mammal cannibalism in the series?
Well, is it really cannibalism if there are different species?
I don't know.
Or am I going...
I mean, predation, if you will.
I think
we
they call the lizards in Martin the Warrior cannibal lizards, so I think they mean, like, any sentient being, which I don't think would count
and
fish.
Then there's the toads in, is it Salamandastron?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mossflower, I think. No.
Owl and Redwall.
Yeah, Mossflower also. I always remember the line, toad flesh.
Toad.
Yes.
Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
What's that from again?
Lord of the Rings.
That's why I didn't know what it was from.
Yeah, the orcs are given strict orders not to eat the hobbits, to bring them back to Isengard alive and unharmed.
Mm-hmm.
And when a couple of them start getting that idea, the leader orc breaks their neck and says, "Okay, other orcs, here's your meat."
Back to the Court of Hares.
Yes.
I actually looked this up because I was curious about the quote-unquote northern accent that's used a lot in this franchise. It is definitely based off a Scottish accent.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I figured. Brocktree walks in, everyone's like, "Well, you're going to challenge Bucko, right? I mean, you're a Badger Lord." He's like, "No, I can't do it." Yeah, you can.
And, yeah, I mean, a hedgehog challenges him at one point, so it's like,
A child hedgehog.
No, an actual hedgehog. Like, that's the first challenge he gets when they arrive.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. And then Skittle walks over to Bucko and starts beating him up.
Yes.
That was cute. I think that's our first moment where you see, like, Bucko's not, like, a villain, but, you know, he's kind of, he's a jerk, but he at least knows how to play nice with the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I get why Brocktree's like, no, it'd be better if another hare challenges him, but given the fact that Brocktree walks right in and Bucko calls him out, "Well, I'm a king, aren't you going to bow or bend a knee?" And Brocktree turns right around, "Well, I'm a Badger Lord, you should stand up in my presence." It's like, yeah, they're kind of polite with each other.
Yep, and then
okay.
Bucko shakes his head and tries to crush his paw, and Brocktree's like, no.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Crunch. Here's the thing. I mean, I get King Bucko gave himself the title, but arguably he does, or somewhat earn it. He can. He's a decent fighter and whatnot. Has Brocktree really earned the title of Badger Lord, or is he just going on, "Hey, my dad's the boss of Salamandastron"? Bow.
Well, wasn't he, like, Lord of Brockhall?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he was.
Big man, have sword.
Honestly, though, if you were, you know, half the size of this guy and he stood up in front of you with his giant sword and said he was a lord, would you really want to argue the point with him?
Yes, Lord Sir, whatever you say, Lord Sir.
Reminds me of, my entire mental image of him is Guts from Berserk.
Okay.
I'm not sure if any of you know him.
I do.
No.
Nope.
Basic.
Is that a W?
Big sword.
Let me guess. Is that a WWE thing? Or?
No, it's an anime.
Oh, okay.
I've played a couple of the games.
Okay, now you just made me think of Ultimate Warrior. Dang it. Never mind.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's
it's
the
only
real
wrestler
reach.
you know, I'm assuming. That's why.
Well, other than, you know, he should not be named.
Redacted.
But
Voldemort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
There's a couple.
There's
actually a couple guys that fit that description.
We're referring to Hulk Hogan since he's been made person non grata by the WWE.
Gotcha.
So.
Oh, there's Guts.
Guts.
Huh. So a little bit of Cloud Strife in there. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he basically says, "Hey, Dotti, you can totally beat Bucko." Okay. But Bucko takes the challenge. He gets the formal challenge, and what does he do? No. He does worse than that, though. We're told his reply is basically, "You're a girl," and the answer is no.
Yes, and the first time I read it, it filled my little feminist heart with rage. I was like, no, you did not just say that.
And I like how Stonepaw, Brocktree, leaks the information because, you know, he comes up, he's like, yeah, he says he's not gonna challenge you because you're a girl, and she's like, what? He's like, yep, and then he spent 10 minutes making fun of you. And she's like, really? And he's like, then he insulted your mom. She's like...
He does kind of go on for a while with that. It's like half a page.
I just have to say, though, I really do like Dotti, and I know she can be a little bit annoying, but I just like that there are other hare heroes in the books, and they're mostly male, and they are just as annoying. So I like that Jake didn't make her less annoying because she was a female. I like that she has the same fault. She's kind of vain. She's, she talks too much. She's a little bit too forthright sometimes. Things like maybe with a female you'd expect to be dialed back a bit. I'm glad he didn't do that. I'm glad he made her a brat.
Yeah, because if you look at, Fleet Scut, who's supposed to be, one of the elder characters, and he's a whiny little jerk, the entire book.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you've got this tribe of squirrels going along with you because you insulted the honor of their leader. And Jugga has every right to be pissed at you. And he keeps insulting her. It's like, dude, you have allies. Stop.
Yeah.
I've noticed it's a running thing with a lot of the hares in this book. A lot of the older hares, the ones that are captured, are constantly, whining and complaining. And it's how did you, I get it with, Dotti, it totally makes sense because, she's young, she starts learning throughout the book. With these older ones, you guys have been through so much. Why are you still so pissy?
I think they're not as military order as they are later on. Once the Long Patrol becomes a full thing, I think it's dialed back. And then you get Tammo as my favorite protagonist in one of the Redwall books. And hares kind of take a bit of a lesser turn.
That's a good point.
But yeah, Fleet Scut.
Yeah.
Comes up on these squirrels. Why didn't you die on the mountain? They're like,
Man, on our mountain.
We got nothing for this.
Outnumbered you.
It's like, because you have no honor at all.
If you had real honor, you would have fought them, killed maybe 20 of them, and then died. And then we'd be right back to where we started. That would have shown everyone.
Yeah, and I get that maybe at first when he's just mad, he's angry, he's like, I couldn't do anything. It's more so he's upset with himself. But then later on, he's still being a jerk to Juka. I'm just chill.
Heck, Dotti actually takes not having anything to eat better than Fleet Scut does.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yes. And apparently it's supposed to be worse for younger hares, and it's like... But Fleet Scut literally just can't stop talking about how hungry he is in Book 1 when he has to give up his rations.
Yep.
So the fact that he ceded authority to Brocktree is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Well, so we get the 3 challenges that Dotti has to go through.
I
What is your
I
name?
love the bragging challenge. It makes me laugh.
What's your favorite color?
Yep. I love that, too. He's like, Bucko, big bones, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, he knows his own name. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was born in a storm. Oh, really? Did you get wet?
And then Bucko disqualifies himself by trying to hit her.
What a gentleman.
Dude, you started this fight.
Dude has no chill.
No.
Man's not hot.
Hashtag toxic masculinity. I had to. It was right there.
I think he
No, I appreciate it.
Salamandastron herb.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Salamandastron.
Salamandastron, man. You lie.
Oh my God. The second challenge is an eating contest. And we've seen, well, not in the books we've covered, but there are other eating contests in the series. Again, Book Salamandastron has one, where we literally have a hare and a shrew go against each other.
Yep.
And the hare doesn't stop. Ever.
Yeah, even after he wins, he challenges others, and they're like, oh, that's funny that he made that joke, and the Mara's like, nah, that's not a joke.
Yeah. And he never seems to get sick. He's just like, no, give me more food, seriously.
Yep.
But we have Bucko and Dotti eating in this eating contest, and both of them have starved themselves
And throughout it, they decide to give Bucko the Sister May special.
Yes.
Well, that's unconfirmed. Suspected, but unconfirmed. But Dotti just basically paces herself from all the way from breakfast all the way into lunch. And Bucko falls asleep.
Yep, and
Because
cannot be wakened.
He's been eating this himself this entire time. At a pretty quick rate. And then Dotti never wants to see food ever again.
How long will that last? Probably like a day.
Dinner.
Yeah.
I'm thinking dinner. I think it's neat,
basically
though,
dinner.
that they did come up with kind of a clever way for her to go about it, to try and bait him and get him into a position where he would fall asleep. You know, because, I don't know, I just like that not everything is solved with brute force, except when badgers are concerned, where everything is solved with brute force.
Even Constance. Come on.
Constance!
Yeah, but it always works out well for Constance.
Except for when she gets locked in the gatehouse.
And then she breaks free by using force.
Yeah, that's true.
That was my favorite part of the Redwall TV show, where... Did this happen in the books with the big crossbow?
Where she tries to shoot Clooney and ends up killing Cheese Thief instead?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that came
happened,
from the books.
I like that. She's like, if we can't defend, we will make a bigger bow. And the bow will shoot a log into the sky. And it will be murder. And everybody's like, oh my god.
Well, there's also Madame Mayo where she's like, I'll drown the birds. And that was a good ploy. You threatened to drown the birds. What ploy?
Blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm sorry, was I not supposed to?
What is badger without murder?
I can badger hear me roar.
Yeah.
We are big.
So the last challenge is boxing. And yeah, I don't have any snark for this. This was actually an entertaining fight.
Yeah. No, this was good.
And even Bucko admitting, yeah, he beat me. Here, take the crown. Why?
I like how
You're
she hands them
now.
to Brocktree, and she's like, here, have the crown and the thingamee.
You could have been queen. In place of Bucko, you would have a queen as terrible as the dawn.
You'd have to listen to her sing every day.
Oh, no.
But no, she gives it right over to Brocktree, and he's like, cool. And he turns it into, and he basically crushes it in his hand and turns it into an accessory on his sword.
As a badger does.
Hey, it's important to accessorize, right?
I can just picture if the craftsman who made that crown is in the audience, you can just picture him go, hey, my crown!
Just sobbing.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did the boxing match happen in this book?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. There it is.
And then, so she's like, okay, here's the crown to Brocktree, and Brocktree's like, okay, everybody, here, listen up. We're all going to Salamander Trunn, and you're all going to fight in my army to take back the mountain.
Hooray!
It's like, we're gonna go kill Ungut Trunn, and Bucko's like, Ungut Trunn? I want to kill him too, and I'm surprised they didn't all just have a silent moment like, oh, maybe we could have avoided a lot of this.
You could have!
Yes.
Come on!
But, you know what, we got character progression for Dotti, and
Bucko as well, because he got humbled a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
That was, like, the most frustrating thing. It was like, oh, come on! Because, like I mentioned last episode, like, I remember reading this one. I don't remember anything about it. So this was about right before I left the series. So.
Yeah, I feel like outside of Stonepaw's death, there aren't a lot of huge moments until then, the very end, where it's like, all right, they beat Bucko, they find out that Bucko was actually originally building this army to fight Trunn, and now the Salamandastron Hares are freed and are setting up a rebellion, and Brocktree is rallying his troops.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
And then we get one of the hares trying to pronounce Salamandastron that made me laugh. Salamo, whatchamacallit. Yeah.
Salmon strong.
So yeah, that's where book 2 ends us. Now we're on the way back to the mountain, and Trunn still has it, but he has no food.
I was going to say, he wishes it was called Salmon Strong, then he'd have something to feed his troops.
Incompetent vermin. You would think a conqueror
we should probably go
that.
fish. They should probably go fishing again.
Oh, we'll find out how that works out for them in book 3.
Yes, I've got this feeling that it won't work out so well, but I cannot imagine where that's coming from. And it did not at all come from the fact that I may or may not have read a little bit ahead of this.
Kaydee, no.
Sorry. I was very good this time. I did not spoil future things. I just spoiled future books.
We all did.
Yeah, we all kind of... Even though it's like in previous episodes, we've constantly like, well, we haven't gotten to that book yet. We kind of threw that out the window today. It's like Trunn with his troops, we threw it out the window.
Yeah.
Hey, sir, I've been telling... That's the third one this morning. You can't keep doing that.
Yes, I can. There are plenty more where they came from. Plus people to feed now.
No.
We've got thousands.
Sir, look out there. There's thousands.
I'll throw you out the window next.
It's as
Run.
big as the mountain.
Sir, I signed the paychecks. You really don't want to get rid of me.
Ungat Trunn hates accounting.
Now I want another poster of a fox looking at a W-2 form and just looking very confused.
No, it's Badrang's HR. He's looking at work since Claw can't sign his name. He's trying to figure out what make head or tails of the form.
Oh God.
So that's book 2. We have one more book to go, and I'm sure, I'm totally sure that that there's no. The good guys always have to always win, right? It's not like Brocktree's in any real danger.
No, we certainly have no idea if he's going to survive after the end of this book.
Yeah.
Totally have no idea there. And I'm sure there won't be any more big hero deaths by the end of the book.
Hey.
Nope, of course not.
Nope, never.
I'm just thinking of the My Heart Will Go On, except played with recorders. I don't know why that's in my head right now. I'm looking that up.
My Brocktree will go on.
Oh.
To Salamandastron.
Find out next time for the podcast sing-along, where we sing all of the songs in Redwall, and one of us will play a recorder.
Okay, and I don't think I can end it any better than that. Kaydee and Drew, thank you for coming on. We'll see you for book 3.
Thanks for having us.
Jeremy, where can they find us on the internet?
You can find us on recorderonthewall.com, right? I always ask that. I am never sure that I'm giving the right website. Recorderonthewall.com. You can find us on iTunes and Google Play Podcast, and we are also, I believe we're mentioned on the official Redwall forums, and we're also on the Redwall subreddit.
Yes, we are. We'll see you next time, folks.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.